माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य ब्यूटी फाउंडर आचार्य सेवर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा मैया यमुना मैया की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। सामवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। पतित पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश की जय। श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकानाथ की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। शील प्रभुपाद की जय। शील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायामुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3rd, Chapter 12, Text 33. सैत्थं गृणतः पुत्रान् पुरो दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतीन् प्रजापतिपतिस्त्वन्नं तत्याज व्रीडतस्तदा तां दिशो जगृर्घोरां निहारं यद्विदुस्तमः। सैत्थं गृणतः पुत्रान् पुरो दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतीन् प्रजापतिपतिस्त्वन्नं तत्याज व्रीडितस्तदा तां दिशो जगृघ्रोराम् निहारं यद्विदुस्तमः स इत्थं गृणतः पुत्रान् पुरो दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतीन् प्रजापतिपतिस्त्वन्नं तत्याज व्रीडितस्तदा तां दिशो जगृह घोराम् निहारं यद्विदुस्तमः स इत्थं गृणतः पुत्रान् पुरो दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतीन् प्रजापतिपतिस्त्वन्नं तद्याज व्रीडितस्तदा तां दिशो जगृह घोराम् निहारं यद्विदुस्तमः इत्थं गुणतः पुत्रान् दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतिस्त्वन्नं तां दिशो जगृह घोराम् निहारं यद्विदुस्तरः स इत्थं गृणतः पुत्रान् पुरो दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतीन् प्रजापतिपतिस्त्वन्नं तथा तां दिशो जगृहुर्घोराम् निहारं यद्विदुस्तमः स इत्थं गुणतः पुत्रान् पुरो दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतीन् स्त्वन्नं तत्याज व्रीडितस्तदा तां दिशो जगृहुर्घोराम् निहारं यद्विदुस्तमः। वैष्णवी स इत्थं गृणतः पुत्रान् पुरो दृष्ट्वा प्रजापतीन् प्रजापतिपतिस्त्वन्नं तत्याज व्रीडितस्तदा तां दिशो जगृहुर्घोराम् निहारं यद्विदुस्तमः। स इत्थं गृणतः पुत्रान् प्रजापतिस्त्वन्नं तत्याज व्रीडितस्तदा तां दिशो जगृहुर्घोराम् निहारं यद्विदुस्तमः। सः हि ब्रह्मा इत्थं Thus, Ganataha speaking, Putran sons, Puraha before, Društva seeing, Prajapatin all the progenitors of living entities. Prajapati Patihi, the father of all of them, Brahma. Tanvam, body. Tatyaja, quit. Vriditaha, ashamed. Tada, at that time. Tam, that body. Dishaha, all directions. Jagruhu, accepted. Ghoram, blamable. Niharam, fog. Yat, which. Viduhu, they known as. Tamaha, darkness. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. The father of all Prajapatis, Brahma, thus seeing all his Prajapati's sons speaking in that way, became very much ashamed and at once gave up the body he had accepted. Later, that body appeared in all directions as the dangerous fog in darkness. Purport. The best way to compensate for one's sinful acts is to give up one's body at once. And Brahma, the leader of the living entities, showed this by his personal example. Brahma has a fabulous duration of life, but he was obliged to give up his body due to his grievous sin, even though he had merely contemplated it in his mind without having actually done it. This is a lesson for the living entities, showing how sinful an act it is to indulge in unrestricted sex life. Even to think of abominable sex life is sinful, and to compensate for such sinful acts, one has to give up his body. In other words, one's duration of life, blessings, opulence, etc., are decreased by sinful acts, and the most dangerous type of sinful act is unrestricted sex. Ignorance is the cause of sinful life, or sinful life is the cause of gross ignorance. The feature of ignorance is darkness or fog. Darkness or fog still covers the whole universe, and the sun is the only counteracting principle. One who takes shelter of the Lord, the perpetual light, has no fear of being annihilated in the darkness of fog or ignorance. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So, happy to be back. I seek blessings of Maharaj and all devotees so that I can speak something for Lord's glorifying Lord, for all of your pleasure and for my purification. So, we are at a point wherein the further creation is getting described, and here Brahmaji, after creating the principle of ignorance, then the principle of knowledge, he created the Prajapatis, and then he got attracted to one of his daughter, and seeing that, Prajapatis headed by Marichi, they prayed to Krishna, for giving good intelligence to Lord Brahma, and immediately Brahma realized his mistake. And in today's verse, it's mentioning that he became very much ashamed and at once gave up his body. So, in this chapter, if we see, initially, when the ignorance was created, Brahma became, dissatisfied, what I have created. That comes in verse 3 actually. Then he creates, the help of knowledge, he creates 4 Kumaras, and then he asks them to procreate and they say no. So he became like he had to face the disobedience, from his sons. Then he further, went on, created the Marichis and the Prajapatis, and then he got distracted by his own creation. So that's in today's verse. So, Prabhupada writes pretty strongly, the best way to compensate for one's sinful act is to give up one's body at once. And Brahma, the leader of the living entities, showed this by his personal example. So, first thing, Lord Brahma doesn't have a gross body. So, giving up body means he did not give up body per se, as we see in this material world, but he gave up that mentality of enjoying. So, that was the first point Prabhupada is mentioning. Also, in this regard, we see that there was a conversation with Srila Prabhupada in morning walk. Thanks to Archita Prabhu, today morning only I got this confirmation in 76 in Mayapur, and Vishnu Swami Maharaj, he asked question that what if a sannyasi is not able to follow his standards, and Prabhupada said he should give up his body immediately. And at later in another conversation, Srila Prabhupada had mentioned somebody had asked the same question. Prabhupada mentioned, okay, if he is not able to practice Krishna consciousness in that particular ashram, you be situated in a ashram where it is suitable for you and continue practice of devotional service. So, and another point to be noted is, Prabhupada writes, he had merely contemplated in his mind without having actually done it. This Brahmaji, he had not engaged in gross act. He just thought, oh, wish I could enjoy. So in previous ages, even the sinful activities done within the mind had consequences. Means it had a same, we had to face the same karmic reaction as if one does that particularly. Now thanks to Kali Yuga, if that's applicable today, don't know what would have happened. The Chitragupta, Yamaraja's secretary, would have a hard time, keeping track of all, all mental offenses. But there is a silver lining. In Kali Yuga, if we do good, even mentally, we get a benefit. Suppose we are driving, for Sankirtan and we see a nice flowered orchard full of nice, beautiful roses. You just offer, let all these flowers be there for pleasure of Rukmini Dwarkadish. So though we are not able to pluck and offer it, we get the same benefit as if doing it. Of course, if we have means, we should do it. But if not, at least this can be a meditation. So, and then Prabhupada goes on to hammer this point actually, that if one engages in sinful act, his duration of life, blessings and opulence, all is reduced, and the most sinful act is unrestricted sex life. Is very strong purport in that sense, right? At one point, Srila Prabhupada had also mentioned that, excuse me, sorry, he had also mentioned, out of this 4 regulative principle, if I reduce this no illicit sex, I'll have followers in tens and fold, maybe 1,000-fold more. But why Prabhupada was so strict? Because Bhagavatam says this. This is most sinful, activity. Why basically? See, the reason we are in this material world is we want to be an enjoyer. And this particular act is kind of a pinnacle of that, enjoying propensity. That we want to be, Lord, and we want to enjoy separately from Krishna. So that keeps us away from our original position. That's why it's very sinful. Then how to get over it? So we have an acronym, control lust by dust. It's easy to remember, right? Control lust by dust. Dust of lotus feet of devotees, yes. But we'll see, first D is for having determination. I'll tell you a nice story. There was one, very rich person, and he had attraction for, seeing one of the, prostitute. And it happened that he used to visit her regularly, and on that particular day, it was raining heavily, and in home, just, some time back, there was a death of his father. So, ideally he should perform his last rites and do all those things, but this fellow was so much engrossed in the thoughts of this lady, he just trashed his father's body, and he started going to the house of this lady. So there was a forest in between, and excuse me, sorry. There was forest in between, and then it was raining heavily. There was a river. There was no boat, so the river was like, kind of, there was a flood, but he did not care. Because he had such an urge, he just jumped in that river, and he was, trying to swim, and then, he just caught hold of, a block of, wood, and, he just went somehow to the other shore, went on, there were bruises to his body because of the, it was dark, and, he was brushing against the trees and thorny bushes. He did not care. He just, had a vyavasayatmika buddhi, pinpointed attention. I want to go and meet her. And he goes there, and he sees that he knocks the door, but because there was lightning and so much noise, no response. So he climbs, there was a kind of a little bit, they call it that shrub, he holds of that and goes up. And then he knocks the door, and he enters, not the door, the window, and he just enters, and he finally sees that lady. And that lady says, if you had a tinge of attraction from Supreme Lord that you had for me, you would become pure devotee. You just see, is determined. And then she says, you came all the way, while swimming, the thing which you thought was log, that was dead body of your father. Then you came all the way, the thing you saw that is rope, and you climbed, that was actually a deadly snake. But you are so much infatuated by seeing all the, like in thoughts of me, you just did not care and you came to see me. He said, if you had just, a iota of this attraction, what you have for me, for Lord, you would be pure devotee. And that was like thunder striking to this fellow. He immediately, I will tell you. Yeah. So sorry for that. I have cough. Forgive me. So then he immediately leaves that lady and starts walking towards Vrindavan. So this first D, determination. So determination meaning having a strong, consistent desire to do something. Okay. So having a strong, consistent desire to get free from lust. That is the starting point. So when we have that determination, it's like, preparing our car and taking a U-turn, Then that is the first D, Then second, D-U-S-T. U is understanding. So scriptures, all the scriptures, again and again they tell that, we are not body, we are spirit, soul, our eternal position is serving Lord, and see again, it is said in the 15th chapter, Urdhva Mula Madashakam, the highest thing in the spiritual world has become the lowest in material, perverted reflection. The highest is love, unconditional love has become unrestricted lust. So when we understand this, that the satisfaction, what we are hankering by engaging in this act is actually, we can get actually in full by serving Lord with love and devotion. When we understand this, then what happens? Our determination becomes strong and we get further push to perform devotional service. So for example, I know I have to go to this destination and then I have a map. Then that is confirmed, then I can drive. So this, reading scriptures again and again, hearing, this helps us to understand. Oh, somebody may say, but see, Lord Brahma, first created being, he fell down. Tomorrow is Shivratri and we have this beautiful pastime of Mohini Murti, right? Shivji, when he wanted to see the beauty of, Lord Narayan in the Mohini Murti form, Lord Shiva fell down. Who are we? And then in the same canto actually, 31st chapter, verse 37, it is said, Tat srishta srishteshu konva khandita dhih puman rushim narayana yoshin mayyeha mayaya. It says, among all kinds of living entities begotten by Brahma, namely men, demigods and animals, none but the sage Narayan is immune to the attraction of Maya in the form of woman. See, Bhagavatam confirms we are not immune to the attraction of woman. And then there are so many pastimes, like, so one may say, then, it's natural, right? Bhagavatam you only quoted, right? But no, these pastimes are to warn us that how much careful we should be. And then there are other pastimes like Haridas Thakur. Maya Devi personally came to allure him. But instead of getting, engaged with her in sense gratification, he made her a devotee. So when we take proper shelter of holy names and instruction of spiritual master, what will happen? We will become immune. There would be this attraction would be there, but there would be a safeguard. The instructions, Guru's instructions will protect us, and that's why Prabhupada has given us these 4 regulative principles, right? This is second, DUST, understanding. Then third is submission, DUS. So this person, he, it's not only understanding is enough, but we also need to take shelter. Every day we have to pray that, Rukmini Dwarkadish, please, you are Madan Mohan. You are the one who has attracted Cupid. Kindly attract my mind. So it is said, if we want to be freed from lusty desires, which form of Lord we should meditate? Where? On the body of Lord? Madan Mohan, yes. And in the Madan Mohan, the eyebrows of Lord. So whenever we come, take darshan of beautiful Dwarkadish, can meditate on the eyebrows of Lord. That will, we can also pray for Lord Nityananda's mercy. Once Lord Chaitanya, he took the coping of Lord Nityananda and he took the threads out of it, and he said, whoever will tie this thread, lust will never touch. Lord Nityananda, he was a grahastha, by the way, with 2 wives. So that is the S, that is submitting humbly. DUST, determination, understanding, submission. So this particular personality, the story continues, we were discussing. He goes on the way to Vrindavan, and then at one place he was asking for alms, and one lady comes and he again gets attracted to her. You know what he does? He says, "Oh mother, give me your hairpins," and pluck. He plucks his own eyes out right then and there. He had that determination, because he had sincerely understood the purpose, he had determination, and he had submitted that, yes, I want to be a devotee of Lord. And he was, with that prayer, he got so much conviction that he plucked his eyes, he became a blind, he went, and the name of that personality was Bilva Mangal Thakur. And when he went, he had such a devotion that Krishna used to come, hold his hand, take him around, and he used to sit. When he used to sing, Krishna used to sit. There is a nice painting, I don't know how many of you have seen, old man, just with a dhoti, he's sitting, he's a blind, he's singing, and Krishna, a very beautiful boy, he's sitting in front listening. So that his submission to Lord and his determination has led to the, his result. And then the last T, D-U-S-T, is training. This again the same story, he trained himself. Okay, what is problem? My eyes are problem. Just pluck it. Of course, if we had to do, the whole world would be blind, see, the situation in the current society, this is a fever increasing society. This current society setup is, it's material fever increasing society. Everywhere where you see, what is promoted is the relationship between man and woman. Once His Holiness Saranand Maharaj was saying that he was a brahmachari and he had to paint, in New Vrindavan. So he went to a shop to get a paint, box paint, Excuse me. So he asked, give us the best paint, because, we have to paint altar, so we want a best paint. So that shopkeeper, he said, these are 2 paints. Quality wise, they are both equal. But this brand A, it sells more than brand B, because this brand A has a picture of a half nude lady on it. So now, is there any connection between a woman and a paint? No. Why it is, put on there? The mind gets attracted. And he forgets, he has come to purchase a paint. He thinks about the photo. And by default, he tries to take. So if we see any advertisement, may it be a car, even like, car washing like services, they put, women's, there. Why? Are they actually going to do? No. There's somebody else, some big fat fellow, doing it. But they put very attractive ladies picture on that, advertisement. Why? Mind gets hooked to it. So this whole society currently is set up in a way that it is a fever, like, it increases, material fever. But with this, hearing again and again, understanding scriptures, we have to separate, the object and the, purpose what we are going in. So we have to be, so this understanding will help. So also the training, like we have, nice brahmacharya ashram. Sincerely we follow. If we are not able to follow, we honestly move to the next ashram, grahastha ashram. It's not that we have to be, pretentious, brahmachari. And then in grahastha ashram also, though there is, some kind of license, but there is, regulation. If we want to, see in this world, if you want to lose taste in doing anything, of course, apart from spiritual life, is you regulate. For example, I want to, I like eating pizza. Okay, I'll eat one pizza slice every Monday. You just make that regulation. You will find down the line 2 months, you will lose taste of eating pizza only. Why? The taste comes when mind, can do anything unrestrictedly. Oh, today I ate, 10 slices of pizza, something like that. So same thing with the, indulgence in sense gratification also. Even in like, for grahasthas, it's sometimes it's difficult. How we do? We regulate. Second practical tip is, avoid the circumstances where we know that we are going to get disturbed. In Marathi language, there is a saying, it translates that, if you know that by going to certain place, you are going to eat stool, just don't go to that place. It's very gross, but, it tells the point, that this, avoidance, if we know that, if I see certain things or if I come across certain people, I am going to get disturbed, then just don't do that. Just avoid that circumstance. And the third thing is that many a times, while practicing devotional service, we feel more disturbed than other people. We go for book distribution or we are walking on pier, and there are like, there is a guy, walking with 2-3 girls. It seems that he is a sense control sage, nothing happening to him. And we just sometimes sitting in Damodar Ashtakam and somebody walking in, we may get disturbed because of their clothing. So is it that they are much far better than us? It's not like that. Those people out, they are like, sleeping on Maya's lap peacefully. So Maya Devi is not going to disturb him. Said anyway, he's Maya guy, he's not going to get away. But we are ones who are trying to get out of Maya's jail. So she is working on us over time. So even if sometimes, thoughts comes, Krishna says that as a reverse, many thoughts will come. We have to be tolerate tam stitikshasva bharat. We have to learn of tolerating and not getting discouraged. So to summarize, we saw that, Brahmaji got distracted by his own creation, but because of prayers of law, because the Prajapatis, they prayed for him, he got immediately situated and he gave up his, that contaminated thought. And then in this purport, Srila Prabhupada is hammering that unrestricted sex is very sinful and we should avoid by all means. And then how to avoid? We saw this acronym DUST, D for determination, that yes, I want to give up. We have to have that strong determination. Then U for understanding, the instructions given in scriptures, how we are hankering for eternal love. So, but this, temporary lust cannot satisfy us. And if we perform devotional service, we will get that, what we are hankering for. Then submission, humbly submitting to Lord, that yes, Lord, you are the only shelter. You only can say, Mama Maya Duratteya, you can only control Maya, meditating on the eyebrows of, Lord. And then T, by training, by regulation, by avoiding where, where we know that after going there we'll be in trouble. And then also not getting discouraged, that mind is troubling, but to tolerate. So we'll end with a prayer from Yamunacharya. Says, Yat avadi mama chetah Krishna padara vindena nava nava rasa dhamni udyatam rantumasid avadi, tad avadi batanari sangena samarpya bhavanti mukha vikara sushtu nishtneha. This actually Yamunacharya is praying that since my mind has been engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and I have been enjoying an ever new transcendental humor, whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my face at once turns from it and I spit at that thought. And another nice prayer from King Kulashekar. Trishna toye madana pavano bhutamohar urmimale धारावर्ते तनय सहज ग्राह संघाकुले च संसाराख्ये महति जल. O Lord of three words, we are drowning in the vast ocean of samsara, which is filled with the waters of material hankering, with many waves of illusion, whipped up by the winds of lust, with whirlpools of wives and the vast school of sharks and other sea monsters who are our sons and brothers. O giver of all benedictions, please grant me a place on the boat of devotion, that is your lotus feet. With this we stop. Yes, come.
Hare Krishna, welcome home. Thank you for the nice class. Full of very, very interesting points to remember, but there's one thing you said that is not accurate. It comes up over and over again, and this misunderstanding this point creates a lot of problem. You said that if one is in the brahmacharya ashram and he have to be honest, if he can't make it, then move on to grihastha. That's not what we want. That's not the standard. Good brahmacharis make good grihasthas. Bad brahmacharis make bad grihasthas. If you're still in that mood of looking around, every woman is for enjoyment, then you're going to carry that mood with you to the grihastha ashram, and you're going to definitely fall down and contaminate others. So that's not the mood of grihastha. Some brahmacharis don't want to complicate their lives. They're following properly and they want to stay that way. That's fine, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Some brahmacharis, they're good brahmacharis. They have not fallen down. They've been trained to see women as mother, but they want to accept one woman as wife. That is natural. It's a natural progression. So, unfortunately, in the beginning of our movement, because we weren't coming out of Vedic culture, we screwed the whole thing up. We made fun of devotees who wanted to move from brahmacharya ashram to grihastha ashram. And we threw those who were bad brahmacharis into grihastha ashram. And then we wonder why there's so many problems. It doesn't work like that. Good brahmacharis make good grihasthas. Bad brahmacharis should stay until they are properly trained. Like you said, DUST, T stands for training. When you're properly trained, then you can move to the next ashram. Otherwise, it becomes chaotic and problematic. And we've seen in our society, and not just our society, all over, everywhere. Those who are not trained, who take up an ashram that they're not ready for, whether it's grihastha or vanaprastha or sannyas, like we were discussing earlier about Prabhupada's instructions about sannyas, it creates a problem. So training has to be there. When one is properly trained as a brahmachari, then you can make a decision. Yes, I will remain brahmachari for life, or I will move to the next ashram. But untrained persons who are not determined, who don't have proper understanding, they're going to make a mess of the next ashram, every ashram they go to. And they just keep moving along. And Prabhupada got upset. Somebody would get married, and then after a few weeks they want to take sannyas. He said, no, that's not how it works. So don't encourage bad brahmacharis to become grihasthas. Please, don't. Nobody here should do that. They should stay until they become calm and have the proper understanding, proper determination. Then they can move on. Because Prabhupada said a good grihastha is actually better than a sannyasi. He said a sannyasi has taken vow not to have anything to do with women. But a grihasta who can live with a submissive wife and not fall down is better than a sannyasi. So how much important is the grihasta ashram? So we don't want, untrained, undetermined persons moving on to become grihastas and just spoil the whole society.
Yeah, thank you for correcting, Prabhu. Actually, with this regard, I just remember that in one of the ashram, when brahmachari wanted to marry, so his spiritual master told that, don't marry for next 2 years. So as Prabhuji was mentioning, it just clicked that, you have to kind of calm down first and then do. And then another one point I forgot to mention is always remember this principle of butter and fire. Even if we put a butter on Antarctic for 10 years, as soon as it comes in touch with fire, it has to melt. So always we all have to be very careful dealing with the opposite personalities, that opposite sex actually, that always remember that butter and fire, you have to be careful, otherwise there are chances of falling down. Yes, thank you, bro. Yes, question. Yeah, the verse was 33rd. It says that the father of all Prajapatis, Brahma, thus seeing all his Prajapati sons speaking in that way, became very much ashamed and at once gave up the body he had accepted. Later the body appeared in all direction as the dangerous fog in the darkness. Yeah, you can read purport as a homework. It's very nice.
What did you say earlier about what's better than a sannyasi?
A good grahastha,
What
a
is
good
that?
grahastha is better than sannyasi. That's what Prabhupada
What
said.
is that? A married man. So just a married man in Krishna consciousness is better than sannyasi?
Yeah.
In other words, if you can follow strictly the principles of grihasta ashram, which means sex only for procreation,
Yeah.
then you're better than a sannyasi because you're living next to the fire.
Yeah.
Not nothing.
Right. Okay. Thank you. That's good.
Yes.
Thank you very much for the nice class. So, Lord Brahma, he was ashamed upon his, actions, by chasing, his own daughter, and he immediately gave up his body. Is that Lord Brahma committed suicide?
No, as initially I mentioned, it is he gave up that thought. He gave up that contamination. He thought that just again just before class I was discussing with Prabhuji. Prabhupada said that this is not committing suicide is also a sinful act. We cannot just escape. We have to reform. There is no other way. We have to give up these tendencies. We cannot say no. I am so fallen. Let me go and jump into ocean. No, we have to reform. So Brahma reformed himself immediately. He gave up that. Brahma doesn't have a gross body like us. So he did not commit suicide, but he gave up this contaminated thought process of enjoying, with his daughter. So yes, committing suicide is sinful. Shastras doesn't recommend. Rather, they say that okay, you face and get reformed. Don't take a escape route of suicidal, committing suicide. Does that answer? Any further? You have any?
I killed the thought, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Would stop here. We will discuss in person. Okay. Yeah. We can discuss in person. Yeah. Thank you so much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitaya Gaur Premanande. Yahi bol.